Happy New Year! Konko Talk! Konko Talk! Aloha everyone, welcome to Konko Talk. Thank you very much for listening to this program. Konko Talk is a program where people in the Konko faith talk about various topics. The thoughts and opinions we share on this program may differ from yours, but we hope that you will enjoy and learn something new. Perhaps we will learn something new that may affect our thoughts, behaviors, and actions for the better. Our different backgrounds, religions, thoughts, and the culture provide the diversity that strengthens our community, just like biodiversity is essential for a healthy planet Earth. I am Koichi Konko from the Konko Michimo Honolulu. Joining me are Amy and Edna. How are you doing today?
Hello.
Good. Thank you very much for joining us. Today's topic is Aiyokakeyo. Although in practicing Konko faith, you have heard the word Aiyokakeyo.
Yes. Mutual interdependence, right?
Yes.
Yes, mutual interdependence because of you, mutual fulfillment. And this is kind of the phrase from a local word or dialect.
Is it like a Okayama dialect?
Yes, it said that when a founder is alive, the people probably use regularly. So when he was born, I think this is not the special word because like just daily use, but gradually fade away. The second generation followers, founders, disciples, children, or younger generation who never met founder, although who have never met Konko-sama, they learn about founder and teaching from a second Konko-sama, third Konko-sama, or written material, and they found Aiyokakeyo is very special word. We talk about mutual fulfillment or interdependent, but not with kami. So I think that's a special for Konko Kyo.
So people used it in common conversations, Ayokakeyo, that phrase.
I never heard. I read in Konko Town, but I never heard Ayokakeyo.
Right.
My time. Even my grandfather searched. So that way he didn't use it and asked older people. Probably he was young. If he was alive, 100, like 10, 20 years old. And he asked older people and they used Aiyokakeyo. So I think gradually
And
people not
was it
use-
used in the same context as Konkokyo uses it? Or you just said Konkokyo uses it as Ayokakeyo with Kami-sama?
So it's not for the described relation with Kami-sama, but between people. Let's go with Aiyokakeyo, work together, or something like that. So that's in Konkokyo, founder used Aiyokakeyo with Kami-sama. Usually Kami-sama is like a very strong, powerful, give blessing, maybe control or maybe punish, but like a mutual alliance, the movement, like a parents and child relationship. Often Konko-sama mentioned that the parents cannot be parents without a child, and child cannot be born without parents. Only thing is that it's not like a 50-50 relationship because we can be adults. So Kami-sama can be Kami-sama, but Kami-sama cannot work as a Kami-sama if there are no people. That's my understanding.
Yeah, it's so humbling. Usually the image of God is like absolute. There's no talking back. There's no questioning. Absolute. It's like a male figure and it's like absolute. And so sometimes authoritarian. And if you don't follow, you're going to get punished. You're going to go to hell. You're going to burn. And a lot of times believers are controlled through fear. But in Konkokyo, I like how Kami-sama says like, I wouldn't have come out into this world if it weren't for you humans. So Kami-sama appreciates human and human appreciates Kami-sama's working. So there's like this mutual gratitude going back and forth.
So we can find 4 example in Kyoten. Kyoten is Konkokyo scriptures. And I was surprised, only 4 places? Because if other words, kami or waga kokoro or okage, those words, there's so many, but only 4. I can share over them. So first one is gonna be in the oboecho, if another person requests his services, he will probably work for him. If Konko didn't ask him to work here, then he will come here. Either way, the carpenter should work cooperatively with his client. It's a translation, but in Japanese, it goes, so there is a Aiyokakeyo, more like a regular conversation. So it's translated to cooperatively. So I think that this is kind of an example that founder used Aiyokakeyo regularly, not only between kami-sama, but in regular conversation. And another one is the teaching to Kara Hitsunezo, a follower. Even if you have a logical explanation, don't review it entirely. Logical explanations like a witch should be driven in only 80%. Overstuffed paperback will break. The world can be at peace through Aiyokakeyo. So this Ayokakeyo couldn't be, I think, they couldn't translate to any English to use as Aiyokakeyo. The world can be at peace through Aiyokakeyo. So Aiyokakeyo is important for peace. And if you have a logical explanation, don't review it entirely. Logical explanation like which should be driven in only 80%. Overstuffed paperback will break. The world can be at peace through Aiyokakeyo. So sound like you don't need to review everything in conversation or relationship, even though you have a logical explanation. Only 80% should be good enough. Because if you say everything, it's going to break the relationship.
Doesn't mean like if you're too honest, it's going to be used against you kind of thing.
So,
I mean, I like honesty, but
Mhm.
sometimes you feel bad that they're too honest with you.
I think, like I'm right, 100% right. You 100% wrong. But if I think I'm right, but maybe you have some kind of explanation, or you are not 100% wrong. So you have some space to say. Maybe that's the kind of an indication from this teaching.
Yeah. There were. I remember this conversation that these two people were having. One person was Christian, and another person was more like a naturalistic kind of faith. She didn't really believe in a specific deity, but she believed that God was energy, much like how we think. But the Christian person was like, no, God is a man. He's only a man, and there's only one God. But the lady was like, no, I don't think so. I think God encompasses everything, and it's energy that surrounds everything. It's not really a man or a woman. And in my head, I was like, yeah. I'm more on that thought. But I didn't say anything. I was just listening to the conversation from far away. I could hear them very clearly because they were talking very, very loudly. And they're getting to a heated argument. And then finally the woman was like, well, does God have that private parts? Does he have that part? To prove that God is really a male. And the man said, yes, he does. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
I think when you talk and discuss, usually we try to understand. But once you turn to like argument, you feel like I'm what I'm saying is right. So you have to listen to me. And I think we lose the relationship of Ayokakeyo here.
It's interesting. I have this kind of conversation with my friend Susan very often. And it's always an argument. Argument is only going to occur when one person is not hearing the other or vice versa, right? Everyone, it just wants to be heard and understood. And as long as you can validate what the other person is saying, whether you agree with it or not. So what betsu, right? You got to put that aside. Whether you agree with what the person is saying or not. Do you hear what the person is saying? Do you understand what they are trying to say? And if you can do that, then there really is no argument. Then just becomes a discussion. So with every issue or problem, there's always many sides at looking at that same issue. So she gave an analogy of, if you look at a penny, we're looking at the same penny, but if I'm looking at it from the top, then I see the head of the penny. But she could be standing on the other side of the room, or she could be looking at it from underneath. And from where she's looking, we're looking at the same penny, but she sees the tail of the penny. We're looking at the same problem, We're looking at the same issue, but we're seeing it from different angles. And so really we're talking about the same thing,
Yeah.
but it's just different ways of seeing things. So that's what I think a lot of times we have to remember. It's very easy not to see it that way, especially when
Yeah.
when emotions and things like that get involved.
Mhm.
That's where we lose all sense of Ayokakeyo. There's no
Yep.
space for that. Like Koichi Sensei says, we have to leave space for that in every
Yeah.
interaction.
Yeah, we try to have the same opinion, the thought. And when we explained like a pandemic occurred a couple years ago and how everybody want to get over this pandemic, wanted to go back to the normal. But the ways of thinking is different. Some people need to go strict. Everybody have to follow this rule, while other people have a different way. And it was so hard to agree. Everybody agree with same opinion, I think. But I think we still are able to understood each other. The situation is way different because my experience is I thought I'm pretty healthy all the time. I'm strong. Even though I got COVID, maybe I was able to survive. But my wife really concerned is at the time she doesn't have a confidence if she got COVID. She had enough stamina or something. So she really scared. So when I went to the shopping, Costco, I have to line up for a long time. When I came back, she was like looks like I'm a bacteria or something, and don't come close to me. Wash your hand. But I learned that some family has like an elderly who had like lung disease or something, and they're so scary. What if I'm maybe okay, but what if my mother's? So different. So we understand each other's both opinions. I have my opinion, and I understand your opinion. I don't know what to do after that. If you're a politician, you have to make a decisions based on
Yeah.
your
The COVID
belief.
time was very hard. It was very difficult.
Hmm.
And it really revealed people's true colors. That's what I think. People who really like have your back no matter what versus because I heard Joe Osteen, he's like a pastor, and I really like this one teaching that he gave one time. I listen to a sermon sometimes, but he said that there is 25% of the people, that will love you no matter what. They'll have your back no matter what. And then there's 25% that will have your back, but that's conditional. It depends. And if you do something, then they won't have your back anymore. And then there's 25% that don't care about you, that don't like you, but that could also change depending on what you do. They may end up liking you. And then there's the last 25% of the people who know you, but who absolutely do not like you and will not support you no matter what. So he always says to look to the 25% of the people that have your back at all times. And really during the pandemic, it really proved who were those 25% of the people that support you no matter what versus people who were like unfriended you for getting the shot, not getting the shot. And it was this whole like, oh, wearing your mask, not wearing your mask. It got really crazy during the pandemic. But
Yep. So I try to observe the people's opinion, how the idea came from. And most people, because they are healthy, they don't want vaccine, they don't want mask because so healthy all the time. Other people is kind of sick, weak. They recognize they're weak. They're really concerned about vaccine or wear mask, and their family, they care the families. So that's interesting to me, and very interesting myself too. When I line up in a Costco, very beginning of the pandemic, and I wondered, oh, we should have like a space or something, even outside. There's like a 1.8 meters, 6 feet. Yeah, we try to, and we line up, and gradually the back of me, the closer to me, and they're like, oh, kind of mad. Why are you so close to me? And wait a minute. Oh, my way of thinking is kind of changed because I thought like no problem. But once people behind me so close to me and they start to worried, it's too close. So it's good time to reflect myself. And we forget Kami-sama too at the time. try to control by ourselves, think about ourselves. To me, if I was politician, probably I go back to the history. The 100 years ago, the influenza was happened. The pandemic went to uh, the world. It happened. So there are some examples. But as a believer of the Konkokyo, I think we should go back to Kami-sama and live out to Kami-sama instead of like arguing. Maybe try to understand their fear or they're okay. So we can have even that kind of situation, we can have an Aiyokakeyo relationship. We can help each other. We have a different idea, but we worry. So we should work together. I'll listen to you. So hopefully we can get over you have to reduce the anxiety. We may have a different ideas towards the pandemic. Now I'd like to share the Aiyokakeyo in Kyoten scriptures. It's kind of long, but I'm going to read. When you were gravely ill at 42. The doctor gave up hope. Everyone worried about you. You prayed to the kamis and Buddhas and were blessed with complete recovery. Regardless of this event as your death, dispel all desires and assist Tenchi Kane no Kami. Also, your wife should consider herself a widow. This is better than being a real widow as she can still talk to you and discuss matters. She should take the children with her to do the farm work. There are many people like yourself who have sincere faith in kamis but still have many problems. Help these people by performing toritsugi. This will help kami and save people. Man exists because of kami, and kami exists because of man. As kami supports man as kami's children, and man supports kami as his parent, there will be eternal prosperity through Aiyokakeyo. This might be famous. It's called Rikkyo Shinden. So this translation is older version, and we have a newer version translation. So we use people rather than man, but there will be eternal prosperity through Aiyokakeyo. Important part is people exist because of kami, and kami exists because of people. Kami supports people as kami's children, and people supports kami as his or her parent, their parent. There will be eternal prosperity through Aiyokakeyo. This is, I think, a point of Aiyokakeyo and founder's perspective toward Aiyokakeyo relationship. And there's a last one. Through your toritsugi mediation, kami as well as the people will be fulfilled. Kami is kami due to people, and people are people due to kami. Parents pray for their children, and children pray for their parents. Like heaven and earth, practice the mutual reliance of Aiyokakeyo. This is one of the important revelation too. So there are Aiyokakeyo and important revelation from Kami-sama. So we can tell Aiyokakeyo is very important.
Well, I realized Aiyokakeyo was important with the recent strike we had at our company, at our place. Our usual hospital aides, the ward clerks, the physical therapists, the therapists, pharmacists, and I think the lab, and even housekeeping. They all went on a really, really big strike, and they had to call in contracted workers to fly in to work. And it made me realize I already knew how important these people are in our workforce, but really how hard they work for us every time. And when these new people just come in and they try to do the same thing, it's like they have to learn everything all over again. And it was like a whole big group of orientees that came in, and work was not as efficient anymore, and it was like pretty chaotic. And different people coming in, so sometimes their opinions would clash with our coworkers, and there would be some headbutting. And so it was really a stressful time, especially for management and us who were working during the strike. So I really understand how we all must work in mutual interdependent relationship, and we really can't get our job done unless everybody else gets their job done too. So I really appreciate everybody, and there's no like rank of like, oh yeah, my work is more important than yours. Everybody's work is so important. Yeah, I believe so. I remember one time this lady, she was like, oh, I know this one person, he didn't amount to anything special. He's only a mailman. And I corrected her. I was like, no, you have no idea how important these mailmen or mail people are. And they deliver our mail, and we have complete trust in them to deliver important things to us all the time. So I totally, appreciate them, and we shouldn't be looking down on them and thinking that their job is inferior. Every job is important, and with it, society can run. So we mustn't ever look down on any occupation. Everybody's doing their best and in good health, so we should appreciate that.
You were saying earlier, COVID was a huge lesson in Ayokakeyo. And just as you said, Edna, COVID made us realize just how important every single level of worker, how important they are and what they do. And the ones that we were, that are typically looked at as lower, how essential worker. Society would shut down. Right? We could not run if we didn't have the janitors working every day, if we didn't have the grocery workers working every day, if we didn't have the trash man collecting our rubbish every day. And COVID, I think, was a huge lesson in Aiyokakeyo and how important it is to recognize how important every single level of worker is. And there should never be any looking down on anyone, let alone in the same workplace. But this, every single person with a job, every single job is important. And I think COVID really showed us that. So in a sense, I think COVID was like a hidden blessing, I think, to society, because everyone got a lesson in how not to think just about yourself, right? You could no longer just think about yourself. Like you were saying, Koichi Sensei, earlier, that just because you're healthy and you don't have to worry about getting sick, like you won't have any adverse effects, long-term COVID effects if you got sick because you're perfectly healthy. That doesn't mean you can go out and be irresponsible and spread the disease, because then you're now possibly affecting every single person in your family. You being irresponsible and getting sick, and you bring it home to grandma, and now grandma cannot handle getting COVID and grandma has to go into the hospital or worse, right? Because of your irresponsibility. So I think it was a huge lesson in Ayokakeyo and having to think not just of yourself. A lot of people needed that reminder, present company included.
We have sometimes, because of me, you can work, you can get paid. You're a customer, go to a restaurant or whatever, and you pay. So I pay for you, but Ayokakeyo more like, because of you, I can do this or that. You serve food for me, so I enjoy food. Thank you. That's kind of a simple attitude. When you think about someone did job for you because you don't have a time, because you don't have a skill, so you can appreciate. That's originally read to the radio program, Konko Radio. Ogawa Yoko-san, a famous novelist and Konko believer, mentioned that her perspective is always try to see that this person doing something I cannot. I can write the stories, but that's all. I cannot do anything else. But those people working so hard for the society, and that's why we can live freely. So because of you, kind of. I think this is also Aiyokakeyo. I always remember when talk about Aiyokakeyo, I went to the fifth Konko Sama and saw Torchigi mediation. I don't know what kind, but I forgot. But I remember what he said. He introduced the tanka, the teaching poem composed by fourth Konko Sama. According to my memory, 共同も共演も共に他を思い譲り合わねば成り立たぬもの. I'm not sure exactly the words. It's perfectly what the fourth Konko Sama composed. But I think the idea is, correct and translated. Is coexistence and co-prosperity can only be realized when we care for one another and yield to each other. So this is the spirit of the Aiyokakeyo. That's for fifth Konko Sama say. This is Aiyokakeyo. So I think we have to put effort to have Aiyokakeyo.
I think you can apply Aiyokakeyo towards even the micro universe as well. You know how before we used to always buy like antimicrobial soap. Everything you buy is like, oh, antimicrobial this, and there's like antiviral this, like all kinds of hand soap. They all had that antimicrobial soap, but what researchers found out was if you be using those kinds of soap all the time, then all those weaker germs will die, but then those really strong, resilient ones will remain, and now you'll be left with these antibiotic resistant strong germs. So if you notice, a lot of soaps, they have removed the antimicrobial portion ingredient in their soap. So yeah, we have to, be in harmony with even the germs that we interact with.
Mhm.
Hard lesson in Ayokakeyo between the four of us. Even like my younger brother is not. He's physically challenged as well. So really, it's just my two older brothers and myself, and we're having to. It's this constant tug of war on who is supposed to take care of what and how much time each person has. We all have full-time jobs. My oldest brother isn't married, but my second older brother is married and has 4 kids of his own, and half of them are in college and the other half are super involved in sports and things like that, and I'm over here single and no kids and things. So it's but I have a life, right? We all have in your face lesson on Ayokakeyo, like having to work with my siblings, which hasn't been always the easiest thing to do, and then also understanding what level of help they need. And it's having to think about what everyone is capable of, what everyone needs help with, because it's not just my mom and my auntie that need the help. We need the help as well as the caretakers, potential caretakers, and things like that. So, and it's, some of us are better at certain things than others. Like I have zero patience with my mom.
Um,
Whereas I noticed that Roy has more patience than I do, like with Alvin even. But John has the most patience with my mom, and I have more patience with Auntie. And it's just this constant give and take. And I'm sure every single person who has had to take care of an aging parent or an aging family member has gone through this, and having to figure out who's taking care of what, who's going to do what, who can do what, and how are we going to take turns doing certain things, even though you're not good at it or whatever it is. It's extremely frustrating, and I completely lost my sense of civility, and basically I lost my shit. Sorry, sorry for the language. I lost my stuff and got into a full-on blowout argument this past weekend when I was home in this whole situation, and where my mom is at versus where my auntie is at. And it's not ever easy to go through something like that. But then, so it was very interesting when the topic was Ayokakeyo today. It was like, okay, all right, I hear you, Kami-sama. Okay, I get it. Ayokakeyo. Okay, yeah, I have to, yes, remember this. So it's very, very interesting. Yeah. So it's, I think Kami-sama, or Konko Daijin was very wise when he recognized that is what makes every relationship go round, is this idea of Ayokakeyo and how necessary it is.
I think we can use Aiyokakeyo not only for relations between people and kami-sama, but also things or objects or incident. The first Konko-sama, thank you to eyeglasses all the time, to the shoes, because thank you, you support me. And also incident. So for Amy, the situation that you have to face the situation right now, but maybe you have to have an Aiyokakeyo with that situation. And also because of you kind of spirit, the way of thinking, I help.
Yeah, that
And
must be so difficult because my parents are getting old too, and thankfully they're still mobile. I mean, they can walk and you're independent, but they're so stubborn, and I have to have this argument sometimes to them. My own blowout too, and sometimes I lose my shit too. And sometimes I think we do have to lose it sometimes and just vent. Just let it out like a big kaboom.
Yeah.
And then, they say in Japanese, ame futte ji ga katamaru. So with the storm and rain, and then the ground is going to settle. And we need that from time to time. We can't just be happy, happy, happy all the time. When we feel those emotions, we just got to let it flow. I really liked Yoki Sensei's, Reverend Yoki Sekiguchi. He did a presentation at the Faith Enrichment Gathering at Honolulu Church the other time, and he mentioned about the 4 seasons in our lives. And, we usually like summer and spring, and that's when we can go on trips and view flowers, and it's just a beautiful time. But then we tend to not appreciate. I love fall though. I love the autumn, by the way. But like the autumn and wintertime is the slower months, and that's when I think activity slows down or stops. But we need that in our lives too. We have winters, we have summers, we have spring, we have autumns, and perhaps right now, Amy, you're experiencing the harsh winter season in your life right now. But I really like how in that discussion we had, there was mention of even during those coldest of winters when everything is dormant and, animals are hibernating, there's actually action going on beneath the roots, in the roots of the trees, and the tree is getting ready for spring. It's getting ready to bloom flowers. So although that winter time is a dormant time and we feel like nothing's happening and everything's just miserable, something deep within is growing, I think. And it's going to make us into a stronger, more resilient person. And he said to appreciate all 4 seasons, although it may be difficult. And you don't have to pretend to be happy when you're feeling miserable. It's okay and it's okay to hibernate sometimes. We need that. We need that rest. So that was really a good presentation that he gave.
I'd like to share the poem from Midori no Kaze, the booklet. This one, it's a flip over, but based on the fourth Konko-sama's poem and teaching poem and teachings. And the title is Hanashiai. I'm going to read it Japanese first. しばらくしてお父さんがこんな詩があるよと言いました。話し合いは理解し合い。話し合いは言い合いではなく、話し合いは聞き合い。話し合いは認め合い。話し合いは頼み合い。話し合いのスパイスは相手を大切に思う優しい心。相手を理解するその努力。自分の好き嫌いでは動けない。私たちはデコボココンビの大親友。いつもスパイス持参で話し合う。おばあちゃんとお母さんは顔を見合わせて笑いました。さて、夕食はスパイスの効いたカレーにでもしましょうかだって。And the translation, talking things through. Grandma and mom are having a discussion. Grandpa and dad are sitting at the table, listening quietly. After a while, dad generally says, there is a poem that goes like this. Talking things through means try to understand each other. Talking things through is not about arguing. Talking things through is about listening. Talking things through is about recognizing each other. Talking things through is about asking for help when needed. The secret ingredient for a good talk is a kind heart that cares for the other person. The effort is understand them and remembering it's not about just doing what I like. We are very different people, but that's what makes us best friends. So let's always bring our kindness with us whenever we talk things through. Grandma and mom looked at each other and smiled. Well then, shall we have curry with spices for dinner? They say. So to me, they talk about difference, and that's, important to put effort to understand each other, be nice each other. It's not easy sometimes, but if we realize we're different, maybe that's the key to understand. We talk about care, about elderly parents and the siblings, how the family can help, because each person is different, position different, strength and different ideas. Maybe that's why we can work together for the parent. Also, we cannot forget because they're alive, we can help them. Of course, even though our parent passed away, and they can be mitama and they can help us, so we can be good person, so they're happy for us to how to handle this situation. Maybe we can have those people before us and ask their help or how they think. I'm glad I was able to help Reverend Yoshino, previous head minister, when he was alive and he got sick and really sick, bedridden, and only 1 month, but I have to take care of him, many things. And so I understand how hard to take care of one person, and I really appreciate those who take care of those people, caregiver. It's big difference who you experience it or with just that experience. It's really hard. Really, your parents or, family members. Reverend Yoshino is we close, but he's not my, family or close family, relatives. So it's easier actually. If you have mother or your father or siblings, I think it's gonna be harder.
Yeah. My brother Rodney Sensei, he told me a story about his friend who, his son got into an accident. I forgot if it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but basically it left his son a quadriplegic and the father had to take care of him. 2 feedings and everything, like so many complete care. He was complete care, completely bedridden for decades. And that's a lot of caregiver strain that can happen to you. And at the same time, Rodney was taking care of his father-in-law. And, it was a stressful time for his family as well. But when he encountered his friend, he told Rodney, Rodney, it may seem that kind of like troublesome or to be taking care for so long, but he says he gets to take care of his son. He gets to do that. Like, sasete itadakeru, be able to, because he's healthy, to be able to take care of his son. So every day he feels very lucky, he tells Rodney, that he gets to take care of his son. But I believe he passed away just recently. It's been really sad for him. And then because of his encountering with that friend, Rodney's mindset changed to, I get to take care of my father-in-law. And his tiredness, the fatigue, it just blew away, and he felt so happy to take care of his father-in-law, and he looked forward to it. And just that change in mentality of get to do this because you get to do it. Really is going to change our thoughts and how we treat people, how we treat things. And I thought that was a really good mentality to have. We get to do this, sasete itadakeru. Because if we're sick, even if we wanted to take care of our, loved ones, we are not able to. But because we are healthy, we get to do it. Because we get to move our hands and our feet and do all sorts of things, and we get to take care of these people in our lives. That was really a good lesson, a good sermon that Rodney, my brother, said during a service one time when he came over to Hawaii.
Yeah, the mentality. Ayokakeyo sounds very positive all the time. The image of the word is so positive. I think that's good that we can have a different perspective. Like we have to do this versus we allowed to do this. One of my favorite face story, the sensei in Japan shared his father who took care of his father or parents because they got dementia, and then he also getting old, and they went to the doctor, and he reported to the church members that I finally passed the test getting dementia. And he said, intention use the word pass the test. Usually you pass the test mean very positive, right? So he became, a doctor said, you are dementia now. You're getting forgetting because of dementia. And he said, I passed the test, finally passed the test. So very positive and very smile. And because his mentality, their children, family members, also easy to take care of them, like enjoying the getting, that time not too bad, but getting worse. But still, they are able to keep the mind that the humor or enjoy this quality time, just like a take care of it. But it's more like a pain back. I think they took care of you because there's children, baby, but now you paying back to your parent, a father who took care of you. So I think we can have Ayokakeyo when we are good time, good relationship. But sometimes the relationship getting worse. But still we need Ayokakeyo. If we can keep having Ayokakeyo relationship, try to have. I think we should start to keep the Ayokakeyo relationship with someone. Maybe we don't get along well anymore, or still, you have to deal with the person. And I think we need to pray. We need to have Toritsugi mediation, but also we continue to have the Ayokakeyo, so that I think that can be the hope that maybe we can get along well again. Nakayo says one of the important idea in Konko with any person because we all beloved children. Kami-sama. Sometimes we need to take a time or space, but I think we can have a Aiyokakeyo relationship. Try to have that. Sometimes hardship is a blessing in disguise. So because the problem, we can grow or develop something, faith, skills, knowledge. In the Konkokyo Declaration goes and place to manifest an ideal world where kami and people and people, and people and all things live together in an interdependent Aiyokakeyo relationship. So again, Ayokakeyo appeared in this declaration, Konko Declaration. I think this is a pretty good guide for us.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you for introducing all those Ayokakeyo related teachings. It's a good reminder for us.
Amy?
You hear them a lot in any service or in a lot of the sermons and things like that. Yeah, great reminders on every day. Yeah, that we should remember that Ayokakeyo is at the foundation of every relationship. Yes, and not just with people, with things as well. Like Konko-sama would always thank his glasses and things like that. So anything he used, he gave thanks for. Yep. Great reminders. Like I said, though, easier said than done, but still great reminders.
Yeah, even the Tenchi Kakitsuke, it goes Divine Parental Universe and wait. 真に願いおかげは我がこれに今月今日で頼め Pray sincerely with all your heart, be one with Kami. Kami's blessing begin within, heart, grateful and caring, in harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever, on this very day. Pray. And if you see this Tenchi Kakitsuke and Aiyokakeyo, it's almost saying that how to have Aiyokakeyo relationship with people, with Kami-sama, and with things. I think this Tenchi Kakitsuke telling us how to have it. But thank you very much for joining us on today's Konko Talk. We talk a lot in various topic with discussion. I think we really good discussion here. If you enjoyed today's program, please subscribe and share Konko Talk with your friends and family. For questions or comments, you can reach us at konkotalk@gmail.com. Until next time, take care and stay connected with Kami and be curious. また会いましょう. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.